guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, going to go over an article titled, Should Sperm Donor Owe Child Support? Ruling will be in North Carolina, but Virginia law will apply. And guys, what we got here, this is an article that's going to show you, as the saying goes, no good deed goes unpunished. And what we have here is yet another situation where a guy was trying to help out a friend of his and donated his sperm, like back in 2010, and then 10 years later, guess what? She's now suing him for child support. Even though he wasn't the father, even though that you're going to see here in the article that he signed away rights and things like that, doesn't matter. She's trying to sue him and get money out of him, right? And so, you know, like I said, I've done a couple articles like this before throughout the course of the last year and a half. One was definitely last summer, and the guy, he made out okay in the situation. But then there was another article I did, another guy did not. So if there's something to learn from articles like this, guys, is, aside from the no good deed goes unpunished line, is that you don't want to do this. Now, I'm sure my audience here wouldn't ever think about doing this, but you never know. So if you ever have a friend, and for whatever the situation is that, you know, she needs a donation to help out, don't do it. Under no circumstances do it. Because again, you know how today's world is. The deck is stacked against men. The laws are meant to favor women, and men are the bad guys. No sense in dealing with it, or even just the fact of having to go through the process of being sued and you having to hire an attorney and all that, because it's going to cost you a bunch of money, a lot of frustration, a lot of problems you do not need. And of course, guys, I'll take it a step further, and if any of you guys are really hard up for money, don't go to the sperm banks donating your seed just so you can get a quick buck, okay? It's not worth it, because that could come back to haunt you one day at the rate things are going. So, but anyhow, I'm going to get into this, guys. You're going to see a little bit more what's going on here so you can walk away knowing something not to do this. Starts off, Virginia, as the state's venerable motto tells us, is for lovers. Fortunately for Anthony A.J. Gorillaz, it's an accommodating place for sperm donors too. Because he crossed the Virginia state line a decade ago to supply a key ingredient in helping a friend get pregnant, Gorillaz appears to have avoided being branded a deadbeat dad by the state of North Carolina and won't have to pay out almost $14,000 in child support, according to a new ruling by the North Carolina Court of Appeals. In an odd how do you do, North Carolina's second highest court said Virginia laws, which treat sperm donors as different legal entities than fathers, govern the case. North Carolina statutes, on the other hand, do not draw legal distinctions between biologically fathering a child and qualifying as a child's actual father. In fact, the law says nothing at all. That is ridiculous, okay? A guy helps out a girl he knows, he's friends with, and still, according to their law, they can't. It's no different than they actually were together physically and had the child, right? Come on here. It says North Carolina has simply not addressed the issue of assisted conception, even though it's been around for a quarter of a century, said Mitch Stiers, a member of Gorillaz' North Carolina defense team. The case, as well as a child now living in California, pay attention to the California part, have been more than a decade in the making. In 2010, according to court records, Gorillaz became friends with Erica Glenn. Such good friends that when Glenn and her partner wanted to start a family, they asked Gorillaz to provide the sperm. He agreed. Dumbass. He agreed. Glenn lived in Virginia, and that's where the artificial insemination and conception occurred. It was also where the child was born in December 2011, according to the case record. Glenn, this is the woman, Glenn was the only parent listed on the Virginia birth certificate. In late 2012, Gorillaz joined Glenn and her partner in a Virginia courtroom to voluntarily sign over his paternal rights, so the Virginia couple could formally adopt the child. Okay, so he did this. He did this in Virginia, where the rules are in favor, and he signed over everything. The parental rights shouldn't be a problem at all. Okay, well, you're going to see. Then they moved to California. And many of you know about California and their laws. Glenn was the only... I'll read that part. Which all seems simple enough. Well, it never is. But then Glenn moved to California in 2014, and at some point began receiving financial aid from her new state. To qualify for the help, according to Stiers is this guy's attorney, Glenn first had to provide the name of her child's father. California passed along the information to North Carolina. Here's a question. Why is she seeking aid from the state? I thought she had a partner to help raise this child. What's the deal here? But as I'm pretty aware of California, it is, let's be honest, it's pretty much a socialist state. It might as well be a country because it's still one of the top in terms of, I believe, GDP compared to other countries in the world. I mean, it's such a big, obviously, money going through there, but still, California is a socialist state. A lot of you guys from California aren't going to like me talking bad about it, but I was born in California. I lived there for 9 years. My dad got the hell out of there because he could see where things were really starting to go bad. So I can make fun of the state all I want because I was, in fact, born there. Anyhow, what started as a private and deeply personal agreement among friends was about to become a public dispute. So again, this guy, he was helping her out, thought he was doing a good deed, and then when it came down to money, then all of a sudden she had no problem turning on the guy. It goes on, the legal border war. By now, Gorillaz was living in Norlina, about an hour north of Durham and just south of the Virginia line. In March 2019, the Warren County, he said North Carolina, Department of Social Services took Gorillaz to court, alleging in a complaint officially filed in Glenn's behalf that he owed a significant amount of overdue child support, $13,643 in all. According to Stiers, Glenn did not initiate the action. Yeah, sure. Glenn is the mother. Now, who did? California? Probably, but I don't buy that. The DSS complaint went before Warren County District Court Judge Adam Keith last July. A legal border war quickly surfaced. Stiers argued that since the key moments in the case, insemination, conception, and birth, had occurred in Virginia, those laws should apply. In Virginia, a sperm donor is now considered a parent unless he is the spouse of the woman being impregnated. Oh, excuse me, it said in Virginia, a sperm donor is not considered a parent. That's what I thought it said. Unless he is the spouse of the woman being impregnated. Thus, Stiers argued Gorillaz did not owe any child support. Well, that's the way I see it. That's the law of Virginia. It all happened in Virginia. And even take another step further, he signed away anything, and she agreed to that. But she, and obviously the state of California, want their money. Not surprisingly, the attorney for DSS thought differently, saying Keith, as a North Carolina judge, had no obligation to follow Virginia law. Because the child support legal action against Gorillaz had been launched in North Carolina, the state's law should decide the case. The DSS attorney argued, and because North Carolina makes no special provisions for sperm donors, Gorillaz was indeed the child's father and should pay up, the attorney said. Bullshit. He's quoted as saying the judge was sympathetic, more than sympathetic, Stiers told the Observer during a Friday phone interview. In the end, however, Keith ruled that the North Carolina law gave him no alternative. Gorillaz, sperm, Gorillaz, child. What a load of bullshit. And again, this guy's thinking, what the hell? I thought we were friends. I was trying to help her out. Oh, by the way, this is why I don't hang out with women. I mean, I have women that I'm acquainted with and friendly with. We don't see me hanging out with them, let alone, actually developing friendships. I mean, what the hell's the point? Look what happened to this guy. The judge ordered Gorillaz to pay the overdue $13,643, plus cover the cost of the child's medical insurance, as well as another $50 a month in new child support. Ah, the gift that keeps on giving. Last week, a 3-judge panel in the North Carolina Court of Appeals had its say. In a unanimous opinion authored by Judge Darren Jackson of Wake County, the court ruled that Virginia law would indeed have the final word. Aha. In doing so, the court cited the legal doctrine of Lex Loci. Okay, L-E-X-L-O-C-I. I don't think it's Loki like in Thor, but whatever the hell it is, which gives precedence to the law in place where the deal is signed or the transaction occurs, especially involves a pregnancy. According to Jackson's opinion, the Lex Loci or Loki or whatever it is should apply in cases affecting the substantial rights of the parties. A law that formally adjudicates a person's status as a parent or non-parent of a child meets this definition, as parenthood is one of the most fundamental protected rights in our entire legal system. Under the artificial insemination precedent, Jackson's opinion cited a 1990 artificial insemination case that also pitted conflicting state laws against each other. In it, A woman gave birth to a child in Florida after using the sperm of another man beside her husband that she received at a pregnancy clinic. The marriage fell apart after the child was born. The mother moved to Illinois and filed for child support. The husband, who remained in Florida, said he should not have to pay because he never agreed to the insemination procedure in the first place. The Illinois trial court said the father was liable for the money, but on appeal, the state Supreme Court said Florida law, which recognized children born from artificial insemination as legitimate only if both parents agree to the procedure, should have standing because the state had the more significant relationship to the dispute. Jackson said the same principle applied in Gorillaz's case. He says, if we were to accept the DSS argument and hold that a paternity action is simply governed by the laws of whatever state the plaintiff chooses to sue in, this would encourage forum shopping, as a parent seeking paternity determination could simply travel to whichever state has the most favorable laws. Exactly, and it would happen. And again, you'd have these clueless guys that would do these things they think are being nice guys, and look what would happen to them. The ruling sends the DSS case back to Warren County for a new hearing. Same North Carolina judge, same North Carolina courtroom, but Virginia law will apply. Well, I really hope that it works out in this guy's favor, because that's bullshit if he has to pay all that money and then additional funds, and probably also money going forward until that child is 18 years of age, a legal adult. Okay, what a load of shit. But guys, I'm doing this. I chose this article as a refresher about this type of things, just to know, as an example, again, to show you how, let's be honest, the family courts are against men. They're going to favor women every time, women and the kids, and the guy's the bad guy, and they're ultimately going to try to make us pay up. So in a situation like this, with regards to donating sperm, I highly advise you keep it in your pants. I don't care how bad you need money. Become an Uber driver, do something else, whatever you got to figure out. Go panhandle at the end of a freaking off-ramp, but do not donate your sperm to raise some quick cash, because although this isn't the case where he was donating to a sperm bank, I foresee down the road that's going to come back to bite guys in the ass. You wait. But for now, don't go donating to help out some girl that you're friends with thinking that you're doing this good deed, okay? Because it may take 10 years, but they're going to come knocking on your door looking for money, and not to mention the trouble that will cause if you indeed are a guy that eventually gets married, has your own family. Imagine that drama and turmoil, right? You don't need that shit. So just pay attention. Now I'm going to pay attention to this and see how things go. I really hope this guy comes out on top here. So anyway, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.